How's it going, Hughes? I present to you the prediction game video for the biggest events of the summer, and of course I'm talking about SummerSlam 2014, which is going to be headlined by the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match between the champion John Cena and the challenger, the 1 in 21-1, Paul Heyman's client, the Beast, Brock Lesnar. Now these two, they've had a match before. They've had a bunch of matches before. But the most recent one being at Extreme Rules 2012, and that was a great match. So this Sunday, I'm expecting it to be just as good, if not even better, because there's more at stake this time around. Of course, there's a championship at stake. John Cena's the champion. Championship is on the line. Not only that, but Brock Lesnar is coming off his biggest win yet, the biggest win of his career, when he beat The Undertaker at Wrestlemania 30 and broke the streak. He was the first person to beat Taker at Mania. So after that huge win, Brock is going into his first championship match since returning, and if he were to win the championship this Sunday, it would be the first time since 2003 that Lesnar wins the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, or at that time it was the WWE Championship, but the history of the championship, of the current championship, is the one of the WWE Championship, which Brock Lesnar of course held, on multiple occasions. And on top of that, there's just a bunch of matches on the card too that have, potential to be great matches. And you've also got the return of Stephanie McMahon in the ring. Stephanie hasn't been in a matchup in a very, very long time, in years. I know she was supposed to have a match against Vicky Guerrero on Raw the night Vicky got fired, but that didn't really take place. So it is her first match in years. And on top of that, SummerSlam just in general tends to be one of the better pay-per-views of the year. If you look back last year, SummerSlam 2013, it was headlined by a great matchup in John Cena versus Daniel Bryan for the championship, and Bryan ended up winning the title, and you also had the big heel turn from Triple H, and then Randy, and he cashes in the briefcase, wins the championship. On top of that, you had CM Punk versus Brock Lesnar, which ended up being one of Brock Lesnar's best matches since his return. And SummerSlam 2012, it was Brock Lesnar versus Triple H for the very first time, and that was a feud that people wanted to see back when, Brock was in his first run with the WWE. And SummerSlam 2011, it was Cena versus Punk, champion versus champion, and on top of that, they had Randy versus Christian in a great World Heavyweight Championship no holds barred match. So, you get the point. SummerSlam just historically has been one of the better pay-per-views of the year and has featured some great, memorable matches. Now, before I start with my predictions, I would like to point out that at Battleground, none of us got our predictions right. I'm talking about every single match. We all got like 1 or 2 matches wrong. We didn't get them all right. And it was the same for Money in the Bank, so let's try and break the streak, and this time, hopefully one of us gets every single match right. I know there's 8 matches on the card, so that's 8 chances or 8 opportunities there for us to get at least one match wrong, but I think we can pull that off. And this time around, there's no multi-man matches. At Money in the Bank, you had 2 ladder matches. One of them involved, 8 superstars, and the other 6 superstars. And at Battleground, you had, of course, the Fatal 4-Way match. And, with those matches where there's more than 2 superstars involved, there's always a higher chance of getting it wrong. But SummerSlam, it's all one-on-one matches, so it should be a bit easier to predict. Although I will admit, I do think that Stephanie versus Brie Bella and Ambrose versus Rollins in the Lumberjack match are 2 pretty hard matches to predict. Now, you might not feel the same, you might think, those are easy to predict, but, I had a hard time, picking somebody for both those matches. But anyways, I encourage you guys to participate in the prediction game and leave your predictions down below in the comment section. And hopefully, the next pay-per-view, come time for Night of Champions, I'll be mentioning, you know, a bunch of people that got all of their predictions right for SummerSlam. So, usually I'd start off my predictions, with the kickoff match. But, surprisingly, this time around, there is no kickoff match, at least as of this moment, at the time I'm, you know, recording this commentary. There's been no match announced for the kickoff. There's been a kickoff announced, the pre-show. There is going to be one. And, you know, it's going to be a panel of Alex Riley, Renee Young, and Booker T. And probably, you know, a guest appearance by a WWE superstar. Who knows, maybe it's going to be Christian again, or maybe Sheamus, something like that. But, yeah, no matches announced. I thought initially maybe it was going to be a tag team championship match, the Usos defending their tag team titles against a bunch of teams in like a triple threat or fatal four-way tag team championship match, but they had an open challenge on main events, which ended up being a triple threat tag team championship match. So I don't think they're going to have another one at SummerSlam. And as far as Sheamus and the United States Championship goes, well, he was involved in that Tag Team Championship match. And also, there's no real contender for the US title. Nobody's won a number one contendership match. So maybe if Sheamus is on the kickoff, it could be like a non-title match or something like that. Or maybe a match involving Damien Sandow with a new persona or new character, something like that. Or maybe they'll put one of the current matches that's already announced for the show as the kickoff match. Who knows, but for now, there's no kickoff match announced. So, moving on to the first matchup I'm going to talk about here, and that is the Intercontinental Championship match between The Miz and Dolph Ziggler. So, this is The Miz's first title defense for the IC Championship since really winning it in the Battle Royal at Battleground. And this match came about when, one, Dolph thought he had won the Battle Royal after eliminating Sheamus, but he didn't know The Miz was outside of the ring for most of the match, got back in, and threw him out of the ring to win the championship. And then I believe 2 weeks afterwards, or a week after, on Raw, Dolph got a non-title victory versus The Miz, earning him a title shot at SummerSlam. So as far as who I think is going to win this match, I'm going to go with The Miz walking away with the championship here and beating Dolph Ziggler. I think it's too soon for The Miz to lose the title right now, especially since this is pretty much the start of his push as the Hollywood Miz, and he just won the championship at Battleground by eliminating Dolph Ziggler. I don't think he's going to lose the championship this soon to the very same person he eliminated to win the title in the first place. So, moving on afterwards, you've got AJ Lee versus Paige for the Divas Championship. This is a rematch from Battleground. At that time, AJ Lee, both AJ and Paige were faces. This time around, Paige turned her back on AJ, she attacked her, threw her off the stage, injured her, and now we've got face AJ versus heel Paige. And in this one, initially I wasn't sure who to go with. But then I was like, no, you know what? I'm pretty sure AJ's winning this one. See, here's the thing. I think AJ's definitely going to be walking away with the championship. I think she's going to retain her championship. The question is, though, does she retain her championship by beating Paige? Or does she retain the championship by getting disqualified after, like, losing her cool? So, that was really the question I was asking myself. In the end, I'm just going to go with AJ winning the match. That means, you know, via pinfall or submission. But I wouldn't be surprised if she retains the title via disqualification. Now, afterwards, you've got a flag match between Jack Swagger and Rusev. I'm looking forward to this one, but I'm also wondering what type of match this is going to be. I know it's a flag match, but there's been 2 types of flag matches in the past. And I'm going to go into more detail on that in my detailed prediction and simulation video of Swagger versus Rusev. But depending on what type of flag match it is, what the winning stipulation is, you know, the person I pick for this match, it really depends on that. But assuming this is the same type of flag match we saw in the most recent flag match that was on SmackDown, which was Ted DiBiase Jr. versus Hunico. If that's the type of match they're going to have, I'm going to go with Jack Swagger on this one. And following that, you've got Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins in a Lumberjack match. And when it comes to this match, I was hoping for, a street fight or something like that. But I understand why Dean Ambrose would pick a Lumberjack match, seeing as how Seth Rollins this entire time has been running away from Ambrose, and he's only been attacking Ambrose from behind and when Ambrose is already in the match. So while it wasn't, the match type I would have loved to see, it makes perfect sense for him to pick a Lumberjack match. And just like the Swagger and Rusev match, I think, the winner of this match, a big part of it depends on the Lumberjacks and if the Authority's gonna pick, Lumberjacks that are gonna go specifically after Ambrose, or if it's gonna be a fair Lumberjack match. But in the end, I'm gonna go with Dean Ambrose winning this match. And afterwards, you've got Bray Wyatt versus Chris Jericho, with Eric Rowan and Luke Harper banned from ringside. As far as this match goes, I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt securing a win over Jericho. After that, you've got Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns in Reigns' first singles match on pay-per-view, and I'm going to go with Roman Reigns picking up the win over Randy. And then, one of the main events, Brie Bella versus Stephanie McMahon. It's Stephanie's first match in years. I'm going to go with Brie Bella winning the match. And for the main event, John Cena versus Brock Lesnar with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship on the line. The match I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to go with the Beast, Brock Lesnar, winning the WWE title to close out SummerSlam. So, that is it for my predictions. It is now time for you guys to give me your predictions in the comment section below if you haven't already. I'll list all the matches in the description box. You can easily give me your predictions. And of course, you can stay tuned for the other SummerSlam videos I'll be posting up today, going into much more detail on all the matches on the card. So, with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, you can click that like button down below. I'd really appreciate it, and with that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.